Welcome to Veteran Resource Podcast, where you will meet nonprofit organizations focused on improving the lives of veterans and their family members. Here is your host, Jeremy Paris.
Welcome to the VAP family of podcasts.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 38 of the Veteran Resource Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Paris. How's everybody doing after the big storm, the big snowzilla that came through the East Coast here? Everybody okay? Everybody dug out? I know that my back is pretty hurting right now. I dug out a good, 6-7 cars in the past couple days. And yeah, I'm ready for spring. Shoot me over a tweet and let me know how you're doing with the shoveling, how you're doing with digging out. At ParisJ13 is my Twitter handle. And just shoot me over something that tells me that you're alive and you're out there listening still. I've been lining up some really good guests for season 2 here. And I've been doing a bunch of interviews, got a bunch in the bin waiting for you. Today's guest is no exception. Another great interview today. And I'm talking with Major Scott Macksam, or as he's sometimes known, Major Mack. Major Scott Macksam graduated from the University of Cincinnati with a BA in History and a minor in German Studies. He received a commission in the Field Artillery. Major Mack has served honorably 20 years in the United States Army in various leadership, command, and staff positions in a global setting. His last assignment was Director of Military Science and Leadership at the University of South Florida, St. Petersburg, where he secured over 1.4 million scholarship awards to cadets and personally dedicated an 8K Veterans Memorial to USFSP. He is a graduate of Officer Basic Course, Air Defense Officers Advanced Course, CGSG, and Combined Arms Staff Service School, Air Assault, Military History Instructors Course, and he holds a Master's in Organizational Management. He also has implemented a National Leadership Development and Internship program for the US Army Cadet Command. In 2014, he secured a 30K National American Soldier exhibit, which was a first in the state. He now is the founder and president of the Veterans Art Center Tampa Bay, pioneering a model for the state of Florida. Major Mack is active in the community and serving member of the Board of Trustees, St. Petersburg Museum of History, Association, United States Army Executive Committee, Remember, Honor, Support Advisory Board, Military Officers Association, Global SOF Foundation, Homes for Independence Board, Goodwill Ambassador, and Social Enterprise Board of Trustees. That's a mouthful. Major Mack has a lot of really cool stuff happening at the Veterans Art Center in Tampa Bay. I really want to get down there and check it out for myself, and not just for the weather, but I'm not going to lie, I absolutely love the weather down there. So I'll try to get a bunch of pictures, maybe do a write-up or something and put it up in the Veteran Artist Program community. But until then, here is the episode. Let's jump right into it. Mack, welcome to the Veteran Resource Podcast. How are you doing today?
Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing outstanding.
That is great. Stay motivated.
It's a little bit colder here than where you are, too.
It is about 75 degrees down here in great St. Petersburg, Florida.
I think it might be 7.5 here. No, it's probably 30.
Get that cold weather gear going.
Right?
Yeah.
Mack, let's get started by getting a brief description of your organization.
Okay, the Veterans Art Center at Tampa Bay is the first time in the state of Florida we have a center honoring our military veterans and families through visual and performing art through various transformational and healing and wellness programs, as well as internationally reaching into Frankfurt, Germany.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to do a deep dive into that.
Yes, sir.
But before we do, I wanted to kind of get a little bit of background on you. Mack, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, kind of leading up to starting this organization?
Yeah, sure. The little story here is when I was in the Army and I was getting ready to get reassigned, and I was offered to start up the officers training program at USF St. Petersburg. In that time, I started the organization and I became a board member at the St. Pete Museum of History. And I secured a national photographic exhibit called the American Soldier Exhibit about 2 years ago. We waited about 3 years for that exhibit. It's come and gone. And in the morning, doing PT, running with our soldiers, with all the arts in St. Petersburg, I thought to myself, where is there a place for our military and veteran artists? And people say, well, Mac, are you an artist? And I say, no, I collect my own specific type of art. But it was one of those aha moments that just came to be. And it's evolved. And so now we are kind of in a year and a half of operations for the Veterans Arts Center. So this is a legacy endeavor that I believe will add value to not only Tampa Bay, but also as a destination for other military artists to come into Tampa Bay and utilize some of our various transformational programs, as well as apply to go to Germany, into Frankfurt, and then to Leipzig, and then to Berlin. But those are kind of that we're going to start into Frankfurt. So this is something I think this is more important than my 20 years. I had about 14 jobs in the Army, and I believe that this will have a great effect with all of the issues of this long protracted conflict that we've had and we will have, as there is a new push for alternate means of therapy, and art is just one slice of the pie.
Absolutely. And so you said that you're not an artist. Were you creative when you were growing up?
I was. That was a good question. I was. And if I dug out some of my stuff when I was a kid, yeah, I did some artwork. And I know I was in drama and I did some plays, and that was I guess performing, but that was back in high school. And I always wanted to serve and be in the military. But now I kind of relate this as what I'm doing. I'm creating an organization. I'm creating it from the ground up. I have the ability of the left and right absences. So creating that organization is a way of artwork. Everybody has a sense of artistic talent inside of them. And it doesn't have to be painting. It doesn't have to be, it can be singing. It can be anything that they feel they can create out of their own mind. And yeah, I guess you can say I'm an artist in that respect.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, let's get into the organization a little bit here. Can you give me the rundown of how VACTB was started, like the origin story, if you will?
Well, the origin stories is just when I was at USF St. Pete directing, it was literally at 5:30 in the morning. And we used to go to downtown St. Petersburg, and St. Pete is a huge, huge destination nationally for arts, and it's very grassroots. And I just connected with the right people and the right philanthropists down here that are very, very noteworthy. And it's been a very hard journey because it's something new. I knew how to set up organizations because I did it at USS St. Pete from nothing. I came down with a government van and a laptop. And when I retired, I had a building, I had staff, I brought in $1.3 million of Army scholarship. I dedicated a $8,000 Veterans Memorial out of my pocket. I dedicated General Schwarzkopf's huge print that I had in his office. I dedicated that to the university. That was art. So, I mean, I'm a community type of guy that I believe that the Art Center will unify the community. It's non-political, it's non-religious, and I believe that where we can say, come to the center, honor a military veteran artist as an individual memorial, and at the end of the day, if the veteran or artist is happy and somebody that purchases that artwork is happy, I've done my job. And we've already done that. We're already, honoring these guys and gals. And when they come up to me and I say, true stories, and I say, what does VATCB mean? And they're like, oh, I don't know, Mac. I don't know, Major Mac. And I say, they can't figure it out. And so then I give them my business card, which says Veterans Arts Center, Tampa Bay. And so what you do is you look inside their eyes and you see the flare and that fire in these young guys or older guys who may be artists. They're all artists. And you see that and you're like, wow, I've been waiting for something for like this a long time. And I always say to myself, well, why hasn't this done before? Well, we're doing it now, and I have to stop that thought process because we're doing it now. We're going to improve the community. We're going to improve the state. We're going to heal our military and veteran artists through PTSD and PTSD through art therapy. We're going to improve the community by unifying this thing called military and veterans and the power of art together. And it's a niche, and it's kind of this calling. When we had the American Soldier exhibit, True Story 2, we had the grand opening, and we had one of these veteran artists that was there, and he goes, Major Mack, come here. And he goes, come to this photograph. And he goes, in 1961, when I was a private, I did a rendition of this photograph. It was a Korea photograph, and it was a soldier holding another soldier. And he did this artwork in 1961. And one of these pieces are in the Pentagon, and one of these pieces are in Special Operations Command headquarters. He's got 150 of these prints. He lives right up the road in Clearwater. And this is how this art and photography and the connectivity, it's just weird. So all of these things are coming together that is saying, hey, this is the right thing, Mac. This is what's important. This is what has values. This is what's going to make people recover, transform, reintegrate through this thing called art.
Love it.
Thank you.
And so, Mac, what programs do you offer with the organization?
That's a good question. We offer various programs. The first program is Operation Art, the Fine Art Gallery. And a lot of myths is people think that this center is a museum or it's just a gallery. Operation Art is the Fine Art Gallery, and that's juried art. Everything will be sold. Everything will be recognized and juried in. The next is Tour de Force. Tour de Force is bringing in educational art exhibits, just like the American Soldier exhibit. And I've secured 4 exhibits for Tampa Bay in the future. The first one I'm going to secure is called the Battle of Fallujah, which is a photography exhibit done by a U.S. Marine. So I don't have to worry about the exhibits for a while, which I want young people to come in to be educated about this photography and, all these art exhibits. We want the community to come in and understand and be educated in what we do as military veterans. The next is Esprit de Corps, and that is bringing in families and children through workshops and building that family core base through art. That was very smallly noted in the white paper that was done in D.C. a while back, and it said, if you bring in families, military veterans and families and children, and you have workshops and you create that synergy with the family, that is a part of that reintegration, that building of recovery when soldiers get out of the Army or get out of deployments, and they use that power of art to build the family. And the next is art as therapy. And we will be providing free classes and courses for those that wish to take up art, i.e. such as the Morian Art Center, and then those that wish to take up art for PTS and PTSD that transforms, that would love to transform themselves. Those are the four programs. Now, an additional program or a partnership that I've created is another nonprofit, and it's called Heaven Drop. And Heaven Drop will make jewelry and crafts out of Army parachutes. So that's going to be inside the center. And that's not only jobs for disabled vets, but it's a uniqueness of the center because it's building stuff and it's creating stuff, and the jewelry is actually really nice. And so we partner with Heaven Drop, and then we'll have an internet radio station or a podcast as well, because it's talk therapy, where we can program our veterans to talk about their artwork and talk about how they created their art and what it means to them. And that's a part of that therapy. It's part of that art. And then lastly, and most uniquely, is the exchange program into Germany. And we just have in downtown St. Pete, the Hofbräu House that's just opened up. We have a huge presence, it seems like, that is building with Germany in St. Pete and in Tampa. There is direct flights with Lufthansa now. So there is about 5 flights every week coming in from Germany. So we have a lot of Germans coming in. And then we have the German contingency at CENTCOM, or excuse me, MacDill Air Force Base. So this is a synergy, it's a global thing that I want. And they will go into the 5 German art institutes in Frankfurt. I go to Germany with Mr. Paul Stavros in April to start develop that program. And then it'll probably move into Leipzig and then up to Berlin, because those 2 cities are a lot more art focused than Frankfurt is. Frankfurt's more business, but I got to start out in Frankfurt because of the direct flights, and it's unique. We can get with Lufthansa and work out the sponsorships and the how that will be supported as well. And people really raise their eyes into that, because when we were talking with General Martin Steele, and his wife is German, it sounds like weird. It's like, oh wow, that's really cool what you're doing. But that's that globalization that just hit me, because my family's German, and I have a very, I studied German history in college, and that's kind of my little pet peeve. And I've never been stationed in Germany. It's one of the weirdest things.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, never stationed in Germany. I asked for it twice. They gave the Hawaii twice, so I wasn't complaining. Yeah, right. But it was a weird thing. But this is something I think is one of those things that it's like calling. And it was like one of those aha moments when all this stuff was evolving, when German donated $10 million to build the College of Business at USFSP, and the Hofbräu House opened up. And, you got the German contingent here at MacDill Air Force Base, and I'm a member of the German American Club, and there's a lot of Germans here. And so it's really neat that we're doing this as a cultural art thing and not a business thing, but that's what we can bring to the table, where we can reach overseas to our friends over in Germany. So that's the Veterans Art Center Tampa Bay, and we're getting there. And 2016 is going to be, I always say, the year of the VATCB, because it will be the year that we open and we have a home. And I'm currently negotiating on a couple properties. And we're going to secure one of the exhibits. And we got a lot of stuff planned for 2016, just besides that.
Outstanding. One question that I do have, getting back to the Heaven Drop, are you going to be selling that jewelry online, or is it going to be just over in the center?
It will be at the center. It'll be online, and it'll be wholesale too.
Oh, nice.
Yep. And I'll get the information too onto that as well. And Nancy Giles is good friends, and we've been known each other for about 3 years now, and it just is like, look, let's just cut the crap. Let's partner, and we will follow this underneath that umbrella, where this becomes that's where that becomes that true center, where people can come to the center that have not served, learn, honor a military artist, and just be a part of that arts community.
Yeah.
It's very something very powerful, and it's a hard thing, because it's a nonprofit world, and nonprofit, it's continually fundraising. But I've committed, and we've already it's already happened. It's just that once we get the doors open, it'll only explode. And there's some philanthropists I'm working with that are like, just stay the course, Major Mack, stay the course. Because there's a lot of stuff. It's hard. It's a different type of mission. But I think this is just another mission I'm doing. And for us Army folks, this is our mission. We complete the mission and we move on to the next mission. And so this mission is just a little bit longer, and I have to be a little bit more patient and let things evolve a little bit more. And so we've done a lot the last year and a half, though. So
I love that you are including family members with the Esprit de Corps. That's one of the questions that I also was going to ask you, was if your programs were strictly just for veterans, and you answered that very quickly for me. So thank you.
Got it. And here's another thing, just to add on to that. For those that have not served, that are artists, they can be involved. And the way they can be involved, they're so open about it. Say, hey, look, and these are great artists, they're national. They're like, look, Mac, we want to support this. We believe in it. We do our military artwork, and here's some art to fundraise. Here's some artwork so that this is how they can support the center. And if we do, that's kind of like that program. Additional is those that have not served, they could show their art too. I know I'm real flexible at stuff, because if once I start to be, draw those barriers, it starts to become too closed. So those that are artists that support the center that have not served, come on in, support it. There's a way we can make this all happen. And just, I believe, unifying our community and just making a little bit of happiness in our crazy world that we live in today.
Excellent. Mac, I saw that you also offer memberships. Can you kind of give me the rundown on that a little bit?
Yes. The basic thing, it's real simple, is a patron membership for $25. Anybody can be a member, an artist, somebody that has not served. It's a very simple membership for $25. And they'll get a pin. They'll get a membership bracelet and a certificate. And they'll be able to be a part of our events for free, and knowing that they've contributed to the center and be a part of that. And they'll also have their name on the founders wall as well, or the patron members founders wall as well. So they'll have their names there, and that's kind of a legacy too as well. Because we're looking for those out there that have not. I really want those that have not served to be a part of this center, because that's the way people are always saying, hey, thanks for your service. What can we do? Well, come to the center, be a patron member, get involved in the center, because that's what Major Mac, asks. That's where we, or you that have not served, can figure out where we fit in. And, it's a simple membership, and but we have different levels of sponsorships too, which is our $1,000 and our $25 and $5,000 founding and presenting partners for the $5,000. And so Ameribank, and I'm working on a couple more right now, and but we need more, because it's always a continuum, and it's hard. It's really hard to develop that as you're a new organization, because there are so many nonprofit organizations for military and veterans in Tampa Bay, and everybody's trying to do the great things and everything, but to unify these nonprofits in the arts is the way to do it. And because there's a lot of nonprofits, they're doing great things, but it's not a part of our mission. Some are doing homelessness, some are doing reintegration, but it's all linked in.
Right.
We want those that believe in the transformation of art, the importance of reintegration of art, and using art as therapy, the use of transforming the family, individual, and the happiness of that military or veteran.
Very cool. You also have on the website that you have volunteer opportunities. Can you kind of go over that a little bit? And is that open for military, veterans, and non-military is the other question that I have about that.
Our center is open up to anybody. We are just honoring our military and veteran artists, but anybody can support and volunteer at some of our events. We're getting ready to do a presentation on our 2 pieces of art to the Hofbräu House, which the owner is a veteran, and he owns all the Hofbräu houses in the world. And he spent about $2 million to renovate this huge complex in downtown St. Pete. So we're going to present some artwork, and we're going to need volunteers to help out with that, because we're going to make it a presentation, but also kind of a mini fundraiser. But we'll also continue to develop the relationship with the Hofbräu House as well, because we kind of envision them to be one of our sponsorship partners because of the German exchange program.
Very nice. I also was curious if you could walk me through the experience. Let's say that I'm a brand new member. I just listened to this podcast episode. I found out about you, and I walked in the door and I said, Major Mac, I'm brand new here. I want to get involved. what can I do? Can you kind of walk me through that experience of what I might see, what I might be doing?
I'm going to give you two examples. I'm going to give you two real quick here. One just happened 2 weeks ago. There was an Army vet that just got down here. And this is the power of social media. It's the power of getting the word out. And what I'm doing right now is working with another public relations company, and we want to send muralists that are veterans up to New York City. Well, he kind of got wind of this, and I contacted him outside because I just knew he came down here, and I says, "Hey, you're a muralist." And so basically, you meet with the veteran. You got to figure out if he's honorably discharged or not. You got to get his military bio. You're going to meet with him to see what his personalities are and look at his artwork and how he wants to become involved and how he wants to showcase and either sell his or her art or donate it or just showcase it. Because some artists just don't want to showcase their art. Some want to sell it and get 50% of the cost because it's going to be 50 and 50.
Mm-hmm.
And some people just want to give their art because to keep the center open because it's a business and we have to pay our bills. So it all depends on what that veteran wants. Some of them do you want to be showcased? Second example is Mr. Greg Crumley. He is a portrait artist, and I kind of stumbled upon this myself again. So I met a Tuskegee airman who was 100 years old in St. Pete. And I thought to myself, Greg, can you do a portrait of Willie Rogers? And he goes, hell yeah. So, and this was back in November. So what happened is I'm afraid that Willie's going to get sick and die because he's 100, but he's healthy as an ox. So I was like, Greg, how quick can you get this portrait done? So he goes, I got it. I'll get it done in a couple days. I'm like, are you kidding me? He goes, yeah. So I'm hurrying to plan this huge event. So we get, the news and we got the property, we get some food and we get the portrait ready to go and we present it. We sell some prints. And let me tell you something. When you get 100-year-old airman and Chief Warrant Officer Greg Crumley and 200 people show up within a 2-week planning time frame of this event. And you got Jen Holloway, and she's a TV personality, great supporter of the VATCB. You got the Tampa Bay Times and all the news. And they come to this point in time where this portrait is covered. And when I get ready to uncover it, I had my head down for a purpose. The reason why is that I was listening to 200 people where these two veterans, one an artist and one a 100-year-old vet, and you saw this artwork and you heard the emotions and the power of this portrait that brought the community together through this one thing that we did. And if you could have been there, this is going to happen continually. It's going to happen at the Hofbräu House. It's going to happen everywhere we do this. We're going to get ready to do a Schwarzkopf portrait presentation in 2016. I know he's passed, but we're going to present it to the family. So what I'm trying to say is that these are stories of artists that we're either going to do stuff with or we're going to honor, and we're going to get them working, and we're going to get them recognized, and we're going to build this consensus of therapy, healing, recovery, and transformation. And these are all true. And it was amazing when you heard all of this emotion. And I'm like, wow, and then it kind of only solidifies and energizes your mission even to go further, because when you could hear it and when you see people, that come to it, that you got something special for Tampa Bay, but for these artists.
Yes. And, I can only imagine being there during that unveiling and seeing that, because just you telling the story, that the hair was standing up on my arms.
Thank you. It's the truth though. I'm getting a little teary-eyed because it's, it doesn't matter if you serve 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you served in the military. And, you know, I would have never thought that I would be doing this after I was in the Army. But things have happened. Things are out there, just kind of the spirits, or what do you want to talk of, the universe. They're just kind of like prodding. And it's like all these weird things are just starting to like, wow, that's weird. This is weird. And that's popped up. And everything that you see, it's like, God, you are on the right track. Something is out there that's guiding this. And I'm just the guy that's doing the trench work. I'm the guy that's doing it, and I'm good at it, and I know what we need to do, and it just takes time, and it takes time to build an organization. But you got to have that foundation so that the foundation doesn't crack. And once you got that foundation, it'll hold the world.
Yeah.
And, you got to do it right. A lot of people can't continue. People quit, or they get discouraged and they get down. Trust me, I get there almost every day. But there's people out there like you guys, and people that I meet every day. Even last night, you meet some good people, and you know that, hey, this is a mission. It's a cause. It's an endeavor. It's not a project. People say, well, good luck in your project, Mac. It's not a project. It's a center for military and veteran artists. It's our endeavor for the community, for the state of Florida, and for the nation.
Awesome. Hey, Mac, I've got one more question for you before we get into the final three.
Okay.
I'm curious what the plans are for the future of VACTB.
The plans for the future of the VATCB, once we get up and running, when we start our therapy, because right now, we're trying to get some grants so we can start up our art therapy programs in our children's program. The future is in 2017, we will start to send and select veteran artists to Frankfurt, because that takes time to develop that relationship. We're going to be doing a fundraiser in October at the German American Day at the Hofbrauer House. So that's going to be, future out there as well. But for the future of the VATCB, once we're going after the next 5 to 10 years, this will be a destination, and we'll be able to have an individual property. Because right now we're trying to look at some smaller properties right now just to start out. But then we can have our own center, our own destination where people can come, they can honor, and they can see and see what we do, and see the trials and tribulations through the therapy art. And that can affect those that have not served. And then also, this is connecting with you guys up in New York City with the Veterans Art Program. It's all of these organizations across the nation collaborating, allying with, and connecting with, so that we are a connectivity of art, and we're all working together, and we're all on the same sheet of music as a unified coalition, I guess you can call it.
Yeah.
That takes time though. But right now what we're doing is we're starting those seeds. We got to sow those seeds, but we got how do we nurture those seeds and make them grow? A lot of the times people just don't they don't know how to make them grow and how to develop that relationship.
Well, I talked to you a little bit before the interview, and we kind of got into the face-to-face communication there a little bit. And I'm pretty sure you have exactly what it takes to grow this organization into the future.
Yeah, I need help though, because a lot of stuff, when you got in the Army, you either got help, you got staff. But this is, I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm the leader, I'm the founder, and I got a vision, but I need help on this. We need volunteers. We need people to write checks. We need people to get involved. We need those artists to get behind us. We need to get the community behind it. And it takes a lot of work, because people don't know what we do. They are not educated about the uses of alternatives of therapy. It's a big push by the VA. I know Representative Gus Bilirakis. I'm on his advisory council. This is a big push. I know he's passed legislation onto this. AMVETS has really trying to look at doing some legislation in the future for what we're doing. I know Diane Zamoto up in DC, and she's one of the legislative directors up there. So it takes a lot of development and time, But if you just continue to keep on it and keep that synergy and remain constant, you'll get there. It's like a ruck march. It takes time to do a 25-mile ruck march. You don't do it in a couple hours. You got to do it and have benchmarks and rests, and you got to get there. You see the objective. You see the objective, but the point from that objective is a whole bunch of obstacles and gullies and obstacles. You got to maneuver around them. And how do you maneuver around them is sometimes by trial and error. Some might explode, some might not, but you got to learn from those. You just got to remain if you're moving forward a step every day, that you're doing something every day, then you'll get there.
Yes.
Not doing anything, you're not getting anywhere. And that's kind of like an Army thing. The Army keeps rolling along. Well, that's how it's a ruck march, but we keep rolling along.
Yeah, and what some people forget, I think, is on that ruck march, sometimes you're going to be, you're going to be in pain. Sometimes your feet are going to get tore up a little bit, but
I've been there, and I'll go through it. And there's always days where I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this out of my own pocket? Why am I, get it? But and then you look at when you meet a veteran artist, or you see somebody that believes in this, or you meet it gets you back onto that electric, that little shock that you got to get sometimes. But you always got to kind of dig down deep and say, hey, look, it's just those are things that are trying to get you. Those are the negative things. Those are things those are those anti-matters that are trying to bring you down. Well,
yeah.
you got that's where resiliency, that's where leadership comes in, and that's where that Army mission comes in. It's like, okay, we're on a mission. Let's win. Let's get to that mission. Let's get the objective. Let's defeat the objective, or win the war. And this is a part of winning that war, I believe, because even though this long protracted war that we've been in, we're still on. But now I say, when I'm on the podium, we are at war at home. We have veterans, military guys getting out. We have issues with homelessness and transition, with no jobs, all that stuff. These are the casualties of war. And the casualties of wars are just not the killed in action or the wounded. It's more than that. It's the families and those that have served have those internal problems. And everybody has a duty, even that not have served, to understand that the war is still at home, and it's going to last for decades, because we're still dealing with Vietnam.
Yep.
So.
All right, Mac, I think we're ready for the final three.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Question number 1. Who would you like to hear on a future episode of the Veteran Resource Podcast?
I would love to Miss Jo Brower. And Miss Jo Brower is the co-founder of another nonprofit that I'm on the advisory board for, called Remember, Honor, Support. And great lady. And she just lost John Strauss about a year ago to leukemia. Good friend. And what their nonprofit does is it's a 9/11 breakfast. And so they fundraise for 3 nonprofits, and they give to 3 nonprofits over $150,000 for that breakfast. And they divide it out for 3. And Jo Brower has a credible story to tell. And this is the 4th year we've been doing this. And this is a huge event in St. Petersburg that brings in over 850 people at every 9/11, because it's 9/11 remembrance, but it goes to our military, our wounded, and our first responders. So Miss Jo Brower, Remember, Honor, Support.
I will check that out. And if I'm in the area on my birthday, I will have to check that out too.
Okay.
9/11, that's when I was born.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
We almost forgotten about it. Almost. I can't believe it,
Yep.
So.
All right. Question number 2. What project has you fired up right now?
My 2 projects that got fired up is the dedication and portrait to the Hofbräu House we're planning in February. That's immediate. And then also we're working on the mural project up in New York City, where we will get 1 or 2 veteran artists to do some murals in Manhattan. Those are really kind of the immediate things. I'm going to be working on the educational art exhibit in 2016 as well. But we're going to Germany in April. So I'm more fired about going to Germany, me personally. But for military veterans and their artists, I'm fired up about that because their art, it's not about me, but I want to go to Germany. So I'm like motivated myself to go to Germany.
Sweet. Okay, the final question. This is the brain stretcher.
Yep, let's do it.
If you woke up tomorrow and you found out that somebody made an anonymous donation of $10 million to your organization, what would you do with it?
Hey, I'd take the $10 million and run. Just kidding. No, what I would do with the $10 million is very, very methodical. And I would definitely bring in the investment players and how to manage that $10 million correctly so that the legacy continues with the foundation, standing up the foundation, but also standing up a center, an actual building that built, a state-of-the-art facility for that 10 million. But you got to have that foundation where you get that reoccurring income. Because that $10 million is eventually that'll go out. So you have to build for the next 10 to 20 to 30 years down the road before I'm long gone and dead. Because you want the center to exist for generations to come. So you have to use that $10 million very, very smart for the future. And also, last thing is using that $10 million to nationalize the VATCB nationally and then also globally so that we can get that connectivity to other art destinations in the world besides Germany.
Awesome. Well, Mac, thank you so much for this interview. I'm sure that you and I are going to be working together in the future between the VACTB and the Veteran Artist Program.
Yes, sir.
And I'm looking forward to seeing how those murals turn out in New York City as well.
I am too. I hope I can get up there. We'll have to go. You have to invite me up, or BR needs to get me up there. You can buy me a German wine or something like that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on, Mac. And one question that I have.
Okay.
Before we sign off is for anybody out there that wants to donate money to you or they want to get involved with the organization, what is the best way for them to contact you?
The best two ways is reaching out to our website, and that is www.vactb.org. And then also my email is vactb@outlook.com. Email me. I'll respond. I always respond to everybody. And reach out to me if you got any questions or we can use your support nationally who are out there. And I love to hear from all artists in the nation so I can bring you guys in too.
Excellent. And I will make sure that I put those links out on the show notes page so that everybody can get to your site very easily. And if you have the information on Heaven Drop, you can send that to me and I can put that out in the show notes as well.
Okay, definitely.
Great. Thank you so much again.
Be safe. God bless.
All right, that wraps up episode 38. Thank you so much for listening. And make sure you get over to the show notes page at veteranpodcast.com/038, where you can get all of the information on Major Mack and check out all of the awesome stuff that he's doing down in Tampa. That's it for this week. We will see you in episode 39.